Hello everyone, welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays. I'm your host Paula Taylor and this is episode 144. So before we jump into tonight's topic, I just want to mention that tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of the massive surgery I had last year for endometriosis, and I had almost 7 inches of my sigmoid colon and rectum removed. I had my uterus and fallopian tubes removed. I had something like 19 sources of endometriosis removed from my bladder, throughout my pelvis, the wall of my pelvis. It was a very massive, extensive surgery. And I talked a lot about it on the show. I talked about the courage it took me to make the decision to have this surgery when I found out how bad my endometriosis really was. I talked about the surrender it took leading up to the surgery, going into the surgery, knowing that I had limited control of the outcome other than to just be present and surrender and trust my surgeons and of course call on my spiritual guides and do all the spiritual things that I usually do. And I talked as well about the ups and downs after surgery, about the recovery and the difficulties, and I documented all of that on my TikTok. If you want more information, I did monthly-ish video updates, and first I did them weekly and then I did them monthly, so that's all on my TikTok if you want to learn more about that. But the reason I bring it up is, first of all, because I talked about it on the show, but I was thinking about, you can't help but kind of, when you have an anniversary like this, you can't help but think about like what's happened in this past year. So not only have I been recovering from surgery, and I'm still recovering, I would say I still have pain in my belly certain times. I still am working on getting kind of my physical stamina back up, but I'm pretty close to recovered and I don't regret having the surgery. But when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about all the other things that have happened over this past year. I finally committed to renting a room here in Tucson, and I was renting a room out of my friend's space for a while, and then I jumped into renting my own space where I now have a larger classroom space. It's really growing. We're growing this beautiful community, and all of that would not be possible without my energetic literacy, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. And I'm not sure I've never heard that term before. So energetic literacy, copyright Paula Taylor, 2023. What is energetic literacy? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And last week I was planning to do a show last week, so I took 2 weeks off purposely. That was planned. Then I had to take an extra week off because it was like I was going to say it was a literal poop show. Yeah, gross. It was very chaotic. I had multiple family emergencies going on. I'm working 6 days a week right now, and I know I'm not the only one that's been feeling this chaotic energy. So I was going to do a show last week called What the Bleep is Going On, and I just didn't have it in me. I was just exhausted. And I went back and forth about this show too, because I am still very tired. But I really wanted to do the show. I enjoy doing the show. I enjoy doing the meditations. And so what happened is I kind of rolled that idea of like what the bleep is going on right now into this idea of what is energetic literacy. So we're going to kind of cover both of those topics. So if you saw the post last week and you're like, oh, I wanted to see that show, it's rolled into this show. It's all one big topic. So first of all, what is energetic literacy? What am I talking about? What does that mean? And the way, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about literacy. There's lots of different ways to think about this, and the most obvious one is reading, right? Reading literacy. That's what that word tends to mean. How well can you read? And we talk about people at, usually they'll say a grade level, he's reading at a 2nd grade level, or she's reading at a 5th grade level, he's reading at an 8th grade level, they're reading at a high school level. And essentially what we've sort of decided together as a society is that the high school level of literacy is sort of the accepted level of literacy. That's why we want children to go all the way through high school and graduate high school. That's sort of what we've determined collectively is the amount of literacy you need to function well in the world in terms of being able to read and write. And another way I was thinking about this was I was thinking about auto mechanics. So I'm not an auto mechanic. I don't have an expert level of literacy in cars by any means, but I have a basic amount of car or auto mechanic literacy, but because before I could get my license, my dad made me demonstrate some basic things to him: how to change a tire, how to check my oil, how to check all the fluids in my car, just basic things. What's the engine? Things like that. Where's the air filter? Where's the battery? How do you check the battery cables? So just a very basic level of literacy so that I didn't get stranded somewhere completely helpless. Now, am I ever going to become an expert auto mechanic? Absolutely not. That's not my thing. But I have a basic level of literacy that helps me get through life in terms of when I'm dealing with my cars. So this is the idea that came to me when I was talking about, I'm going to talk about what the bleep is going on energetically right now, globally, for just about everybody I know. And energetic literacy is the way that we deal with that. I have an expert level of energetic literacy because I'm a professional energy worker, and I have been for 20 years. So what got me through this whole last year of these ups and downs and all these changes and these new beginnings and all of the uncertainty was my energetic literacy, was my understanding of how energy works. How does energy work in my body? What is energy? How does it work in my body? How does it work around my body? How does it work in relationship to other people in my life? How does it work in relationship to situations in my life? And I'm going to apologize because I'm still really tired and I have a feeling my words are going to be a little bit off tonight, but stick with me because this is a great topic. And sometimes I was telling my coworker today, I've sort of gotten to the point where I'm just like laughing at everything. It's like that sort of punchiness that it's just like everything's funny. So you might get a nice laugh, or I might get a nice laugh at myself about trying to come up with words tonight. So energetic literacy is the understanding of how energy works. And I will tell you that everybody needs to have some basic level of energetic literacy. Just like my dad wouldn't let me go down to the DMV and get my license until I could demonstrate a basic level of literacy around how cars work. Just like they won't let you graduate from high school until you demonstrate not basic, maybe, an intermediate level of literacy in terms of reading and writing. The more that you understand energy, how it works, how it affects your life, how it affects your relationships, how it affects the global situation, the more prepared you are to deal with these things like the ups and downs of life. We cannot get rid of those. It doesn't matter how advanced you are spiritually. You're going to have ups. You're going to have downs. You're going to have grief. You're going to have anger. You're going to have disappointment. You're going to have all the things. You're going to have joy and bliss and happiness. Like that is the human experience. That is what we are here for. And what energetic literacy can do is that it can help us actually not just survive the things that happen to us in our lives, but actually thrive through those things. And there's always going to be times where like you're just surviving. And even like for me, it's been so chaotic, but within that chaos, I find the moments that allow me to use my energetic literacy to keep myself healthy, to keep myself happy, to keep myself whole and complete. Moments of meditation, moments of breath work, moments of sound. Right in the middle of this, I did a 6-hour workshop on awakening the authentic voice, which was amazing and so healing for everyone there, including me. So this is why energetic literacy is so important, just like the literacy of reading and writing. It's really something that we should be teaching everybody at least some basic understanding. And why is that? I kind of just summed it up, but let's go into the what the bleep is going on portion of the show that I was going to do last week. And I've talked about this a lot on my TikTok. So if you have TikTok and you're not following me, I'm Paula Taylor Energy. I do, not every day, but I often do a daily reading. I pull some cards. I've talked about this sort of trend on TikTok kind of over time, but we're gonna talk about it a little bit more in depth. The nice thing about this show is that we have a longer time. I can get a little bit more in depth than I did do on, a 2 or 3 minute TikTok. So what is happening right now, and I am not the only one saying this, I see a lot of energy workers and intuitives and psychics. I'm not a big fan of that word. I like intuitives, but I see a lot of people talking about this right now, spiritual leaders and teachers. Something's shifting with the energy of our collective, of humanity. And what's been shown to me, the information that I've been given, and I've seen this reflected with kind of different wording, but in the timeline I see is similar, which I think is always so interesting. It's kind of like how near-death experiences have universal things that people have never met each other have the same experience or similar experiences. There are certain hallmarks or whatever. All of these people who, I've never had contact with seem to agree that next year sometime there's going to be a big shift. And I've heard a variety of things. I think it's June, July. I think it's like in the middle of the year. So what is happening? What is happening energetically right now is that everything is getting more intense. And what do I mean by that? And I've said some of this on the show before, so it might sound familiar. Every cycle of the moon is an energetic cycle. And leading up to the full moon, we sort of culminate in this big release. That's what culminates. We talked about this a few episodes ago about how they call it a moon cycle for a reason. So you ovulate, theoretically, you ovulate at the full moon and then you bleed at the new moon. And so what does that mean? Leading up to the full moon, the energy builds and builds and builds and builds. And then there's this big release. And then the energy kind of comes down and there's this rest period until we get to the new moon. And so that happens, every 28-ish days, right? And some months, like we just had a month where we had 2 supermoons. It depends on kind of the cycle of the moon. So what is happening, and what I have been noticing for at least the last year, and especially 6 months, is that every full moon, that powerful energy that comes in with the full moon is getting more intense. So the full moon that we just had this month is much more intense than the full moon we had last year at this time. It's just the energy is actually ratcheting up. And the way I've been talking about it on TikTok is this idea that we're on a roller coaster and like we kind of ratchet up. You ratchet up to the full moon and then whoo, you go on the ride and things get crazy. So there's a reason people in the medical field who are not at all into spiritual things tend to hate the full moon, and it's because everything gets very chaotic. And it's true. It is reflected. We are beings of water. And so the full moon controls the tide. Of course, the full moon has an effect on our bodies. So that's one of the things that's going on, is that the energy, every full moon, the energy that's coming in is going to grow in intensity. And what I was told by my guides is that in the middle of next year, at some point, there is going to be some energy that comes in that it has the power of 40 full moons. That is the wording I was given. 40. Not 4, not 14, 40. So if you've been feeling a little overwhelmed, like with this last full moon, imagine that times 40. It's very intense. And how do we deal with that? We deal with that using energetic literacy. And we'll talk more about kind of the specifics of that. But I want to get into this other thing that's happening, because there's multiple things happening, and that is also, there's this sort of like gestalt effect. There's this added effect of like, this is happening and this is happening, and then it's sort of everything's multiplying into even more intensity, which intensity is often experienced as chaos. The other thing that's happening is that we're being asked to shift. There's this whole, I don't know much about astrology. I talk about it every once in a while, but we shifted into the age of Aquarius, right? And if you saw that old musical Hair, you know that song, The Age of Aquarius, and we kind of associate that with like hippies and New Age. And it's right in that there's this whole new era that's supposed to be coming about where humanity starts evolving and maybe hopefully we start getting more peaceful and we start kind of expanding, we start clearing our vibrations so we don't have all this muddiness, all this fear and hatred and anger within us. We start to expand, we start to have more experiences of intuitive information and connection to the divine. We start to have more harmony within ourselves, which is reflected back in the collective. So we are being asked collectively to undergo a series of activations. And the first one was a crown activation that we've been going through for the past probably 4 months, 3 or 4 months. I feel like we started around maybe Augusty, July, somewhere in there. And, you know, there's overlap with this stuff. This is not like a hard and, you know, it's not like there's a date and you missed the crown activation. I have a mini crown activation on my TikTok. If you want to go watch that, I watched that on repeat when I was going through some of these symptoms that came with my crown activation, like headaches and ear pressure and jaw pain. And it was really helpful. So that's one of the things that's happening, and we're gonna go through this series of activations that again is going to culminate in this huge activation next year. I heard somebody talk about it as a Kundalini activation, which Kundalini is the energy that comes kind of up the spine and out the top of the head. So we're heading into a third eye activation, and I'm doing an Archangel sound journey to help with that on 11/11, which is fun. That I think it's 2 to 3:30 in the afternoon. It's a Saturday, only in person here in Tucson, because I still can't figure out how to get my bowls to come through well on Zoom. But I'll also be doing some mini activations and things to assist you on TikTok, and you can always book one-on-one with me. I do sound healing over the virtual space. It's just a big sound bath with a lot of bowls. Doesn't tend to work well on Zoom. So we're being led through these series of activations that, again, we're headed toward whatever this is going to happen in the middle of next year that I can't even fathom, because it's already been really chaotic. And how does this show up in our lives? Because if you're not someone like, I don't follow the moon cycle and I don't care about any of that stuff, here's the thing, and I've said this before, and I will say this again. It doesn't matter if you believe in this stuff, it affects you either way. And the more you work with energy, like I work with energy professionally, I can see it in all the people I meet. I can see the energetic pattern that they're kind of reliving, or the energetic pattern that they're presenting with. That's, you know, why people come to me for help. And it's like, you might not know it, you might not believe it, but it is affecting you. So how does this manifest in our lives? And I've said this word like 15 times already. One of the ways it manifests is as chaos. So think about, and I use this a lot because I think it's a good visualization. Think about if you went to a still body of water, a lake or a pond, something like that, and it was super clear. You could see all the way down. It was this beautiful crystal clear body of water. And then you stood in the water and you rubbed your feet back and forth against the muddy ground. Then all this muddiness would come up and the water wouldn't be clear anymore. So what happens when we get these huge influxes of energy is it acts like those feet on the bottom of the pond, and it starts stirring everything up. And so what happens is that our behavior is affected by that. And so we start to kind of lash out at each other. We start to have anxiety. We start to have depression. We start to have all of these things that happen on a micro level that then get reflected back to us on a macro level, with the way that countries treat each other and the way that, you know, different, I don't know, wars and all of that stuff. I don't even want to talk about that, because my belief is that the macro is a reflection of the micro. So I can't control who's at war with who, other than trying to get involved politically and stuff like that. What I can do is address my own energetic literacy and try to bring as much clarity, expansion, and harmony to my own personal body and field, and that will be reflected out to me. And that is why you need energetic literacy. You need a basic understanding of how energy works, of how it's held in your body. And the good news about that is that there are a lot of experts out there like me who can help you with that, who can help you gain a basic understanding of how energy works. How does it move in my body? Where do I hold energy? What happens when I have a certain pattern? And I've been working with people now for 20 years, and I see the same patterns in most people over and over again. And I wrote a book about it. I wrote a book called Spiritual Integration. You can read about it on my website, paulataylorenergy.com. You can order the book on Amazon. And it's a step-by-step guide to learning about your own energy, to learning about how the energy moves in your body. What happens when the energy in your body is not moving? What happens when the energy in your body is bound up somewhere? All of these kind of things. And then at the end of the book, I also talk about energetic cords, which is this idea of like, how is my energy related to someone else's energy? And how can I deal with that, especially when I don't even have a relationship with that other person, or I don't have a good relationship with that other person, or that person's not someone I can go to and say, hey, let's work on our energetic cord together, because they'll just roll their eyes at me. There's a chapter in the book that will help you learn to work with energetic cords. And of course, you can always reach out to me. But the reason I wrote that book is because I want everybody to have energetic literacy. And at some point, I am planning to kind of run a course, probably a Zoom course, where we go through that book in a few chunks, like maybe 3 chunks, 3 kind of long, 2-hour workshops or something, where we talk about the book, where I give you more hands-on help. I've got meditations that are free on my website that help you kind of work through the steps of that book. Again, the whole reason I wrote that book was for energetic literacy, because I truly believe, because I am an example of this in my own life, and I've seen it in many other people. The more you understand energy, the more you understand emotion, the more you understand your physical body, and the more you understand how you relate to the world around you. It's the reason I didn't become a psychologist, because to me it was too narrow of a focus. It was lacking something. And we need psychologists, please don't get me wrong. We need people who just focus on the mental, just like we need people who just focus on the physical. But my understanding came fairly early on in my young adulthood that the foundation of all of those things is actually this energetic, spiritual existence. It's energy. And I use the word spiritual, which makes it sound sort of foo-foo or woo-woo or new age or unscientific. Energy is physical matter. We can't necessarily see it with our naked eye, not all of us anyway, but they're starting to be able to test for this. We know there's an electromagnetic field around the body. We use different forms of energy to affect the physical body. We use sound to break up liver tumors. We use light to help people deal with seasonal affective disorder. All of that is just energy in different forms, waves, vibrations in different forms. So if the word energy feels like a little too abstract for you, think about it in terms of vibration, and think about that same pool of water we were talking about, pond, lake, whatever. If you throw a stone in there, there's a ripple that comes out. You can see physically the waves of energy moving out from that stone. So we have waves of energy. We have vibrations moving through our bodies at all time, moving around our bodies, both close to the body and further away. And we've talked about that on multiple shows. We'll do like a little bit of that. I don't want to get too far down that kind of rabbit hole, because I could talk for hours and hours and hours about basic energetic anatomy. But one of the things I say a lot on the show is like, you don't need a really in-depth understanding of energetic anatomy. That's what I'm here for. That's why you have experts. What you need is that basic, can I change a tire? Can I check my oil? How do I fill my windshield washer fluid? That's the level of energetic anatomy knowledge, of energetic literacy that everybody needs to have, so that you can understand, so that you can make life easier for yourself. Again, life's never going to be easy. There's never going to be, you're always going to have ups and downs. It's never going to be, if it was flat, it would be kind of boring, honestly. Like, the ups are great. The downs, not so much, but we wouldn't have the ups without the downs. That's one of the things about living in a physical universe. We have light, so we have dark. We have opposites. If there was no dark, we wouldn't understand what light was, because we wouldn't have anything to compare it to. So we're meant to have the ups and downs. What the energetic literacy can do is to help you weather those, and again, not just survive, but actually thrive through them. I've talked about this, and I'm like, I can see all these paths in my mind I could wander down. I've had a lot of experience with depression and anxiety and physical illness. I just talked at the beginning of the show about having to have part of my colon removed. I mean, I have been down the path, and I have been in very dark places. When I was going through my infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss, I've had 12 miscarriages, I was going to kill myself. There was a period of time that I was just done. I just couldn't do it anymore. I lost my faith. And the experience I had that brought me out of that actually is the introduction to my book. What happened to me that got me out of that? It was this process that was shown to me of working with your own energy, of bringing more clarity and expansion and harmony to yourself. And it brought me back. I've been brought back so many times by my experience with energy work. And I just want everyone else to have that experience, because you deserve to feel good. You deserve to, and not, no one's going to feel good all the time. It's part of being human. But I will tell you, when I started this work at 19, I was a miserable person. I was very unhappy. I was negative. I was depressed. I just felt very stuck and unhappy. And 25 years later, I would say that 90+% of the time now, I feel not just okay, I feel joyful. I have daily experiences of bliss. And it's all because of this work that I have been doing, that I just want people to have a basic understanding of, and then again, come and get help from somebody who's really, gotten down into the depths and can help you with it. But having a basic understanding, watching this show every week, listening to the podcast every week, there's 144 episodes of this now. You are energetically literate. If you've listened to or watched every single episode of this show, you have basic energetic literacy. That is essentially what I'm teaching. And we get into some really amazing stuff. We did a whole episode about the aura, and we did a whole aura cleanse. We've talked about flow within the body. We're still going to get back to this embodiment and physical health, where we're going to talk more about energetic flow within the actual organs and the tissues of the body. All of this stuff is real and will change your life. It will make it better. Will it be perfect? No, nothing is perfect, but it will give you the tools to weather this increasingly chaotic, intense energy that is not going to let up. That's the thing. I think it was in a TikTok, I said the actual date of the full moon, this last full moon that we just had, that it was about 2 weeks ago or so, because we're almost to the new moon. I sat outside all night with my family, and it was the best I felt in a really long time. I felt like I was bathing in that moon energy. And I felt like all this chaos, and actually that's where the roller coaster metaphor came in. I said I felt like the roller coaster finally coasted back to the home base, and it dropped. It kind of drops back into the track, and then you get out and the next people get in. Before I had a chance to get out, it took off again. And then it's just been like curly cues and upside down and up and down and ever since. But again, I know how to weather that, and I know how to thrive through that. There's an episode last year called Thriving Through Uncertainty I just listened to recently. So if you want to develop some basic energetic anatomy, I'm going to plug myself. Read my book. That's one way to do it. Watch or listen to the show. That's another way to do it. Reach out to work with me one-on-one. I guarantee you that it will be life-changing for you, even to just have kind of a basic understanding of how these things work. How does energy move within the body? And we talk about that a lot. There's a lot of different systems, like the chakra system. There's the meridian system from traditional Chinese medicine. In my book, I keep it even simpler than that, because you really just need to understand mostly kind of what are the patterns? What are the patterns that most people have? I think that's where we're going to go tonight. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And then we're going to just do a really beautiful, relaxing meditation where we let go of some energy that's not serving us and we call in new energy. Every single meditation we do on this show is energy work. Whether I use the word energy, whether we're just talking about intention, because using intention and visualization is energy work. Sound is energy work. So every week, or almost every week, we don't meet every week now, and that's okay. 143 times, and then again tonight 144 times, you will have had access to a 15 to 20 minute guided energy work session that helps you work with your own energy. And that is one of the reasons that I keep doing this show. I don't make any money off doing this show, but I'm just so passionate about people understanding how useful this is, how practical this actually is to understand. You know, if I'm having an argument with someone or things are not going well, or I just keep I'm feeling like I'm banging my head against a wall, like energetically, I've got to look at what's going on. Maybe I need to pivot. Maybe I need to turn a different direction. You know, maybe I need to acknowledge that I'm hurt to this person so that they feel safe enough to acknowledge that they're hurt to me. Emotional work is energetic work. So just briefly, off the top of my head, let's talk about some of the kind of broad energetic patterns in the body, in and around the body that most people have. So almost every single person I work with has an issue where the energy is not traveling all the way down to their feet. There's a reason we start every meditation where I ask you to call in energy or invite in light or visualize light and love coming in through the top of your head and all the way down your body and all the way down to your feet. And there are people that I work with who I work with multiple times before we get any kind of energetic flow down to the feet, because we are just in the mental space so often that we just forget energetically that we even have a body. We get disembodied. Trauma disembodies us. We've talked about that a lot of times. So that is probably the most common energetic pattern I see in people. There's another energetic pattern that I talk about in my book that has to do with the belly. And we talk about the belly a lot. I call it the cave on this show. So what happens in the belly, there's a couple of different things that happen in the belly. For a lot of us, energy kind of herniates out from the belly and it gets stuck, and that's reflected in kind of our actual physical bodies kind of getting larger in that way. There are other people who the energy gets really bound up in their belly and it's not moving, and those people tend to be kind of thin, and those are kind of the type of people who sort of can't gain weight. And again, weight is not a thing that I want to use any kind of judgments about. It's just like a body type thing that I see with those different patterns. In both cases, what happens is that we need to invite the energy back into the body if it's outside of the body. We need to get the energy moving in the belly, because a lot of our difficult emotions are stored in the belly and they get stuck. I had a client who said she had boulders in her cave, and I love that because it's very much the way it is. We have stuck places of energy in our belly. That's one of the things that keeps the energy from moving all the way down to the feet. So we need to kind of, I call it reclaiming core energy. Dissipating emotion. So we store emotion physically in the body, or energetically in the physical body, really. We store emotion energetically in the physical body, but also it can be in the fields around our body. So acknowledging emotions, letting yourself feel the emotions, actually allows the emotions to dissipate out of your energetic field. And then grounding and protection is something that I talk about in the books. It's actually a 3-stage process. So it's that pulling in at the core, it's that getting the energy down into the earth and connected, and then it's what I call in the book hooking into God, or you can insert source or spirit or divine, whatever word comes through for that. And that is that idea of connecting with something that's larger than yourself and inviting that energy in. And when you're in that unconditional love energy, you are truly protected, because love transmutes all other energy to love. So if you want more information about any of that, again, you can read the book. Keep an eye out for that class. That's probably not coming till next year at this point, I'm guessing. But if you're interested, you can always shoot me a little message too. If I have enough interest, we can start kind of planning a specific date for that. Any way that you can develop some basic energetic literacy is going to serve you. It's going to serve you in your physical body. It's going to serve you in your emotional experience. It's going to serve you in your mental space, in bringing some quiet into that overactive mind that most of us have. It's going to serve you in your relationships with other people. It's going to serve you in your workplace. It's just like the gift that keeps on giving. So for tonight's meditation, we're not going to do anything super specific with energy because we've done that in a lot of our meditations. We did an aura clearing meditation. We've done a lot of meditations where we've kind of worked with different aspects of energy. Calling our energy home, we're actually going to do that a little bit tonight because that's another thing that's really important. That's a pattern that most of us have, is kind of leaving energy in places. Oh, this happened at work and part of my energy is still there even though I've told myself, oh, I'm not there anymore and I'm focused on this. I left some of my energy there. And so then we start to feel depleted because we're giving away our own energy. And that's another part, and I'm already on a tangent, but this is important. That's another part of energetic literacy that everyone should understand. You do not have to give your own energy. And in fact, giving your own energy doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve whoever or whatever you're giving it to. That is why people who learn Reiki are trained to channel. That is where the word channeling comes from. I am calling in source energy and then I am sending it through myself. So when I work on people, I try to never give them my own energy. And I've been doing it for a long time, so I'm pretty good at channeling energy, at giving energy from universal source, because it's not my job to give my own energy away. It's my job to keep my cup full so that I can overflow and I can channel that beautiful energy that I'm calling in to other people. That's my professional job. So I work on that a lot. So what we're going to do in the meditation tonight, we're going to do a little bit of calling our energy back home, because if you've been in this chaos, it's really hard not to get depleted. And that's one of the practices. I said I've been finding little places to practice. One of the things I do at night before I go to sleep is that I lay in bed and I call back all my energy. I let go of any energy that's not serving me, because we also pick energy up from places and people and things that is maybe not serving us. It's maybe heavier or denser or something that's, got a kind of a fearful emotional attachment to it. So one of the things I do, basically, I'm going to guide you through my bedtime practice, I think, tonight. We're going to let go of anything that doesn't serve us. We're going to call in any energy that we've left behind. And then we're just going to connect to that beautiful source energy and let it fill us up as much as we can. Within the body, around the body, we'll do a little bit of beautiful sound to support that. So let's meditate together. So this meditation is going to be a very receptive meditation. It's all about receiving. If you'd like to lie down for this, that's great. This is a great bedtime meditation. And in fact, you might try this meditation before bed every night for at least a week. 30 days would be amazing. And you will notice a huge difference in probably how you're sleeping, but absolutely in how you're showing up in your daytime life. This nighttime practice will inform how you show up the next day. So just get really comfortable here. You could even crawl into bed. You could pull up the covers. If you fall asleep in the middle of this meditation, that's fine. You could start over again tomorrow night. This is a meditation that's designed to help you let go of energy at the end of the day, help you call back energy that you've left somewhere at the end of the day, and then just really replenish yourself energetically so that you've got a good chance to really relax, to really repair yourself physically and emotionally and spiritually while you sleep. And then in the morning when you get up, you've got a fresh start. You can practice this anytime, but it's a great bedtime meditation. So get nice and comfortable. Let's take 3 deep oxytocin breaths together. This is just a signal to the body that we're coming out of that daytime sympathetic fight or freeze response. We're coming into this ease, this rest and digest, this parasympathetic. rest response. We're going to take a big breath in through the nose, letting the belly flow down strongly. We're going to sigh that out through the open mouth with an audible ha sound traveling from high to low. And this vibrates the vagus nerve. It tells your body to come into that relaxation mode. So 3 to 5 deep oxytocin breaths. And as you complete your breaths, just check in with your body. Notice where there's any tension, anything you've been holding on to. Maybe you just do a little bit of gentle movement. If you're already lying down, maybe you just kind of turn your head back and forth, circle your wrists or your ankles, just moving a little bit of energy through and out of the body before we come into this beautiful relaxation and replenishing meditation. So letting go of the oxytocin breath, knowing you can come back to it at any point. Anytime you feel like you need to release something, you want to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. Adding that beautiful sigh really helps with that. But just allow your breath to relax here. I'm just doing a little gentle shaking. That's my wrists and hands have been a little bit uncomfortable, so I'm just discharging a little bit of energy from those. So what we're going to do now is just set the intention to release any energy that is no longer serving us. You can state this out loud. That's a really powerful way to set an intention, stating it out loud. You can just focus within your mind and state it. You can just allow me to state it and kind of let that come into your consciousness, into your energetic field. I now release anything I've picked up during the day that is not mine. I willingly and easily release any energy that is no longer serving me. I let go of any energy that is no longer needed. Weya say anayo. Weya say anayo. Say how, how, how. Say how, how. Big deep breath in. Sigh that out. You can use that oxytocin breath or just a nice big sigh out through the mouth, just letting go of any energy that's no longer serving, anything you picked up throughout the day that you don't want to take with you into tomorrow, just letting that go. And now setting the intention to call back any energy that you've left anywhere during this day, anywhere that you left a little bit of energy, a little bit of your attention, a little bit of your emotional investment, calling all that back now. And you can call that back from everywhere. You can even call that back from your loved ones, because leaving your own personal energy with someone else doesn't actually serve them. Later on, we can send universal energy with intention to our loved ones, but leaving our personal energy with them actually doesn't serve them or us. So again, you can repeat these intentions out loud. You can just focus and think them in your mind, or you can just let my voice kind of bring them into your consciousness, into your energy. I call back any energy I've left throughout this day. I call back my energy into my own space. I invite my energy back into my field and into my body, knowing that it is best serving me and others to have that energy within and around myself. Seanate owaye, seanate owaye, seanate owaye, aseo, 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 yao. Calling back that energy now, reclaiming any energy that you've given away, any energy that you've left behind. Take a nice big deep breath in through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth, just letting go again. And after we reclaim our energy, we always want to just briefly restate our intention to let go of anything that's no longer serving, in case any of the energy we've called back is just not serving us anymore. So just briefly state that intention out loud or internally. I release any energy which no longer serves me. And now imagining the top of the head, that crown chakra opening. Inviting in that beautiful unconditional light and love that we are made of. Let that beautiful energy flow in through the top of your head. Feel it come into your scalp and your skull and your brain. Feel this beautiful unconditional light and love come into the space around your head, into the mental body, into that space where you probably spent so much time today. Let that energy come fully into that space and notice that feeling of relief, of relaxation that comes in as you invite this beautiful source energy into your head, into your brain, into your mental space, letting it come into the jaw, letting it come into the neck and the throat. Beautiful light and love coming down into the neck and throat, out into the shoulders, down your upper arms into your elbows, down the forearms into the wrists and hands, calling this amazing, beautiful, unconditional love and light down to the very tips of your fingers. Letting this beautiful source energy flow down into the chest and the upper back. Maybe pausing a moment here to take an extra breath at the heart space, really letting this beautiful energy come into your heart and soften anything that maybe became a little bit less soft today in your emotional field. Calling that beautiful unconditional love into the heart space, letting it come into the mid back, down through your rib cage, into the belly, into the organs within your belly, into the lower back, this beautiful cave of energy that sits above your pelvis, down into the lower belly, all that beautiful vital function here in your body, doing such hard work for you each day, inviting this beautiful energy all the way into the belly, to the internal organs, down into the pelvis. Letting this beautiful light and love flow into the hips, that beautiful bowl of your pelvis, down all the way to the base of your spine. Letting this beautiful light and love now flow into your thighs like warm golden honey, just being poured down the inside of your thighs, this beautiful energy flowing down from your hips, down your thighs to your knees. Let yourself take a couple of breaths here, allowing this energy to come down the legs, all the way through the head, down through the neck and the throat, down through the chest and the belly and the pelvis, and all the way down through the thighs to your knees. Taking a breath or two into the knees, this area of your body that does so much work to support you physically. Maybe just breathing some light into your knees for a moment, giving some gratitude. And then as you're ready, allowing this beautiful golden warm honey, this amber light and love, this source energy to flow down your lower legs, down through the shins, down through the calves, all the way to the ankles. And again, a couple of breaths here, really allowing this energy to come all the way down through your legs, all the way down to the ankles, and finally into the feet. Really noticing your feet here, feeling this beautiful energy, this beautiful, thick, liquid gold flowing all the way down your body from the head, through the neck, through the chest and the belly, through the pelvis and the hips, through the upper legs and the knees and the lower legs and the ankles, all the way down through the feet and into the earth. Begin to imagine a pillar of this light coming all the way down through your head, through your body, and into the earth. Filling your body, filling your energetic body, your physical body, your mental and emotional bodies, filling the energetic fields around your body, all the way out to the edge of the room now, filling with this beautiful light, this beautiful love, this unconditional love and light, this golden honey that flows through your body, that flows within and around your body, filling up the space completely, replenishing you. All of the energy that's no longer serving you now released. All of the energy you've left behind called back home. And now you're opening to this beautiful source energy, filling yourself up, filling your cup up to overflowing. And in the last few moments here, if you would like to take some of this channeled energy and direct it at someone or something in your life, you can choose to keep calling it into yourself. And if you've been really depleted, stay with that. There is always time to channel energy, but you want to be really full and overflowing before you begin to direct that energy, because you want to know that it's channeled, that you're not giving yourself away. And if you'd like to direct some energy, just set the intention to focus on a person or an animal or a situation in your life. Maybe you're getting ready to travel and you focus on having a safe trip. Maybe you're coming up on something big in your life that you want to send some love to. You want to send yourself some courage. Whatever it is, just direct your intention there and the energy will follow. Continuing to draw this energy in through the head. And then if you're directing it outward, just using your intention, you can use your hands if you'd like, but it's not necessary. You might find that your body is heating up here. You might find that your hands are heating up here. That just means the energy is flowing. You might find some tingles. You might feel cold. You might feel emotions coming up. This is all just a normal part of this energy flowing through your body, being invited to flow freely all the way down through the head, through the neck, through the chest, through the upper back, the mid back, low belly and low back, down through that tailbone and the hips, all the way down through the thighs, into the knees, and down through the lower legs, into the feet. And just allow this beautiful flow of energy down, releasing anything that no longer serves, calling back energy you've left, and directing a little bit of energy elsewhere if you choose to. Swayanatayeya, swayatayenaye, swayatayenaseo, Say Hanaeho. Say Hanaeho. Say Hanaeho sa say Ayeho. Say Ayeho. Say Ayeha. Say Hanaeho. Just allowing yourself to receive for one more moment here. If you're in a safe space and you're ready to drift off to sleep, allow yourself to sleep, knowing that you've served yourself so well here by releasing energy and calling it home, and then filling your cup fully. If you're headed back into the rest of your day or evening, be very slow about this. Take your time. Stay here for an extra 5, 10, 15 minutes if you have it. Just continuing to call energy in through the top of your head, all the way down through your body. Continuing to release what no longer serves you and call back any energy you've left behind. Or just bask in this feeling. Let go of any kind of intention and just be. Just allow yourself to receive this beautiful energy I'm sending Reiki through this transmission to assist you, channeling that universal light and love to help you serve yourself so that you can serve others. If you're ready to come back, just very slowly begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. No rush here. Really taking your time. You might find yourself guided to a nice big deep breath, letting it out with a nice big sigh. You might find that you're not ready for that yet, and that's okay too. Maybe beginning to circle the wrists and hands, circling the ankles. Again, being really slow with this, continuing to receive this energy, bringing this receptivity with you into the rest of your day or evening, into the rest of your week and month and year. Remembering that you can always take a few moments to release what no longer serves, to call back your energy, and then to invite this beautiful flow into the body, filling the space around the body, filling the entire room you're in. Sat Nam. The truth of your identity is that you are energy. And the more you learn to work with that, the more access you will have to joy and physical, emotional, and mental health. The more able you will be to weather the ups and downs of life and to thrive through uncertainty. As you're ready, take one more nice deep breath and then open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Have a calm and grounded rest of your week, and I will see you next week for Wind Down Wednesdays.